Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good, and welcome back to another session. I want to go through this in a different format today. Instead of the traditional showcases, I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive on the unit itself and talk about the various skill sets, team building, links, whatever, and just go in a little bit more detail in terms of an actual card analysis. So hopefully you guys like this approach. If you do, definitely make sure to like the video, and if you're new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe as well. So this is the brand new LR Badidi Dabura unit. It's pretty much with a team cost of 99, so it's assumed that it will be a free-to-play unit, most likely the next Battlefield LR. So let's go into some of the more details of the information. So again, the way to acquire this unit is basically being researched at this point, but it's highly suggested it'll be the Battlefield unit that you can exchange with the Battlefield medals. So again, it's a team cost or a unit cost of 99. The typing is an extreme agility type, and here are the following stats. At 100% potential, you're looking at 17,824 for HP, and then attack is 17,613, and defense is 13,072. Not too bad in terms of stats for a free-to-play unit. Leader skill is the upgraded Majin Buu Saga by 10%. You're looking at Majin Buu Saga category allies get Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense increase of 130%. Now it is an LR, so you do have the 12 key and 18 key super attacks. For the 12 key, you're looking at colossal damage to enemy, and then sealing SA. For the 18 key, it's mega colossal damage and also a high chance to stun the enemy. So you have the combination of sealing and stunning the enemy, which is actually pretty fitting of the character for Badidi, honestly. So it's pretty nice. Let's talk about the passive skill as well. So along with getting a base increase of Ki plus 3, attack and defense increase of 88%, you're looking at basically when attacking an enemy that has a attack or defense down state, an additional Ki plus 3, and then attack and defense increase of 40% up as well. And then if the enemy is in a stunned or sealed SA state, additional Ki plus 3, high chance of criticals activating, and the Majin power category allies get Ki plus 3 and attack and defense increase of 30%. So quite a bit of skill sets built into that. I think it's a very, very good support, even though this unit technically doesn't fall into the Majin power category. This is a good support with that, and on the various other categories you could certainly find units that you could link up with in a way that they would benefit from this passive skill setting. Okay, so you do have like the various links, basically like the Majin resurrection plan, or whatever the proper link skill is. That's Ki plus 2. Majin no Tsukaite is like the user of Majin, or Majin magic or evil magic or whatever it is. It's an increase of 15% toward attack. This should be Thirst for Conquest, attack increase of 15%. I believe Zankyo's Brutal Beatdown for 10% toward attack. Nightmare is also 10% to attack, and then Fear and Faith is Ki plus 2, and then of course Legendary Power is upon activating a super attack increase of 5,000. So you have a very good combination of attack and key boosting links, and you should be able to build a fairly decent team and link up with various units that do at least have some of these portions of links. Now, with that being said, the thing to note is you don't really see a defensive boost toward any of the link skills, but I think that's fine because you do get at least an 88% starting off with the base, and then additional 40%. Or whatever the case is, based on the various status effects on the enemy. So I think defensively this guy could be pretty good, or these guys could be pretty good, and we'll leave it at that. Now the important thing is the categories. Of course, these guys are the leaders for the Majin Buu Saga category, but on top of that you do have the combination and Conquest of Terror. I personally will probably end up running this unit a lot on the Conquest of Terror setup. Because a lot of these links can be shared amongst units in that category as well, and of course with the transforming cooler as leader, it's not only the Conquest of Terra but also the transformation boost category allies that can be included on the team. So various different ways to go about building some team building, and honestly, it should be very interesting to see how that works out. Okay, so in summary for this unit, basically for the super attack, does provide improvements or enhancements towards sealing SA or stunning. And then for the passive, you're looking at, raising category allies attack and also getting that chance of criticals based on, of course, the status effects. All right, let's see. Let's go through here and talk about some of the other portions. This is basically talking about the super attacks and like the attack multiplier, damage multiplier, stuff like that, based on the conditions or whatever the case is. So like talking about the max SA levels and how much of an impact it has. We don't really need to talk about it in detail. I think people can kind of make their judgment on that. Okay, so these are basically the tables following the calculations on damage or attack stats based on conditions. This table right here is based on no links. You're looking at these amounts of damages based on the leader setting. So attack increase of 90%, you're looking at these 120%. So we're going to optimize it and talk about attack increase of 170%. So with that being said, no links active, you're looking at 1,879,452. With the links at 100% potential, that does obviously increase to 2.9 million roughly. I'm not quite sure what links are active in this case, but we can kind of go in detail. I guess this is basically how it's being calculated here. So the links that are active are basically the the user of Majin Power or whatever the case is. That's attack increase of 15%, Thirst for Conquest, Brutal Beatdown, Nightmare, and also Legendary Power. So with all of these being active, you're looking at the following information here in terms of like the stats. So in the table here below, you're looking at in a state where the enemies got an attack or defense stat decrease, so status effect on attack and defense decrease. You're looking at that improving from 2.9 million to roughly about 3.5 million in an optimized scenario where all the links are active. Now it'll probably be most likely a little bit less depending on what units you bring on the rotation, but right off from the bat, you can at least cover a fair amount of these because not only do the Boo units have some of these, but also some of the units on the Conquest of Terror category, a lot of these do have these 3 link skills, so it'll be fairly a good way to set that up. And honestly, this unit should be very, very good with specific certain team builds. I believe this is basically the defensive level, so these are the defensive stats based on the settings. You're looking at 170% defensive boost from the leader skills. You're looking at 108,000 in terms of defense, which is pretty good. That's a pretty solid number for a free-to-play LR. That's especially pretty good. You do get an improvement based on, again, the enemy having attack or defense down status, and that'll improve to 131,136, and that is more than reasonable in my opinion. That's actually a pretty solid defensive stat. All right. This is just covering about the ability to raise super attack levels. Of course, there isn't a unit that has the current state, with the same name. Obviously, when it comes to Battlefield LRs, if that is the case for this unit, then you're looking at starting off at an LR state. So obviously, there's no other forms of farming in an SSR or TUR state. So of course, with that being said, it is going to be the Badidi Dabura unit, and that's the actual name for the card itself. So long story short, basically you're not going to be able to farm it, so you're going to have to use Elder Kais or Grand Kais to raise the SA levels, unless we know otherwise coming up. Okay, and this is basically the potential levels, the amount you need. So agility types, obviously 4,310 of the small orbs, 2,470 of the medium, and then 223 of the large orbs. So these are, pretty much the increases you'll see based on the different settings. So at 55%, you have the flat 2,000 stats, and then of course, 4,600 for HP, 5,000 for attack, and then 5,400 for defense applies once you get it to 100% potential. And along with that, you do have the skill orbs that you can equip. Of course, certain ones will increase the following parameters, but also increase, the additionals and critical hits as well. I've heard with the latest data download that you do have with the bronze skill orbs, you do have the ability to now include level 5s toward additionals and criticals and whatnot. So it ultimately comes down to what you can get based on the treasures from the new chain mode attack, but from what I hear, it is available. All right. So let's talk about some of the compatibilities, right? Units that link up well with the LR version of Badidi and Dabura. So with that being said, these are, I guess, classified in different star ratings. So for 5-star, which is the highest, you've got the Intelligence Dabura unit. You do share quite a bit of links and categories. So like basically linking up this unit with the LR, you do get a key boost of 4 and then attack increase of 35%. These are the recommended settings to run it on the Extreme type setting, Majin Buu Saga setting, or the Conquest of Terror. And then you have the physical type of Dabura, which is also key boost of 4, attack increase of 35%. The categories are the same as well. These are irrelevant because these are pretty much the SSR states, so you pretty much know what to follow with that. Now the 4-star rating, surprisingly, you do have the Mecha Frieza and King Cold, which is also one of the Battlefield LRs. You do share key plus 2, or a total of key boost of 2, and then attack increase of 25%, along with the legendary power active, which is attack increase of 5,000 upon activating a super attack. And they fall into the combination and Conquest of Terror category, as well as the extreme type build. Not necessarily something you might necessarily want to do here, but you do have the SR versions of Dabura that do share some links and does boost up the key and attack percentages. I think the only real way you would potentially include these units is, say, the new chain battle mode, where you really want to boost up the battle card itself, and then you bring in various supporters or connectors that help out with the units. All right, let's move on to some of the 3-star settings here. Looks like the Demon King LR Piccolo is on here, attack increase of 25%, along with legendary power of 5,000. The 2 settings is basically the extreme category or extreme type, and then the Conquest of Terror category. This obviously applies to after the transformation, so that's the links and boosting that you'll get from that status. A lot of these are LRs, it looks like, from the 3-star rating. So you do have LR Frieza, key plus 2, attack increase of 15%, along with the 5,000 from the legendary power. A little bit less with the Metacooler army, 10% toward attack and key plus 2. And then you have others, other units on here like the LR Androids, LR Goku Black, the Strength LR Zamasu unit, or Goku Black, or Zamasu/Goku. Janemba's on here as well, both versions. You're looking at a key plus 2 and 20%. Unfortunately, in this case, you can only run that on the extreme type build, so same applies for this one as well. So, in this case, it's a little bit limited. Like I said earlier, I would personally probably run this unit on the Conquest of Terror category, and because you're able to bring in units like the Intelligence Metacooler, which is a phenomenal support. I love this unit. In terms of that particular category team, and along with that, you also do get some links shared between the units, and Turles is obviously another one that falls into that category that can help out with the passive skill support as well. Of course, this guy is if you are fortunate to have potential levels toward him, this is also a good one. Only issue is it only applies on the extreme type. So a lot of these units you see on here do only fall into the extreme type team building setting, but outside of that, you can make do with a couple of other supporting type units that fall into the category. Not necessarily the best of linking partners with the particular unit, but at least they'll provide a passive support toward the LR unit. Alright, so I think that pretty much wraps up the section for all of the information related to the new LR. So I think this is a little bit of a deeper dive, and it does raise a lot of good points in terms of like the detailed information behind each unit. I kind of do like this format, so I may continue to do this whenever new units do come out or get released. Let me know in the comments section if you do prefer or enjoy this type of content more or less than the traditional showcases. and we can kind of, start thinking forward on how to go about content like this. All right, as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.